All right, welcome to our, what video is this?
Video 3B, Mr. Miller.
Yes, video 3B. This man right here is Mr. Lewis, and I'm Mr. Miller. Today, two-way tables. Let's go.
All right, so what is a two-way table? All right, well, just like the name says, the tables arrange the counts of two different categorical variables. Remember from the couple videos ago, categorical variables are things that have to do with categories, either yes, no, or colors, things like that. All right, two-way tables are often sometimes called contingency tables.
I never call them that.
Well, you're always a horse of a different color.
No, that's true. They are called that. Here we go. We're back to the Titanic example from the book. Last time we looked at the example of survival statistics from the wreck of the Titanic. And this right here is an example of a two-way table. One of the variables is survival status, and the categories were dead and alive. The other categorical variable is class, and the categories were first, second, third, and crew. So we're going to use this for our first example.
All right. So here we have our table again. All right, and the first question asks, what percent of the survivors were in the second class? Notice we italicize of the survivors because you really have to pay attention to what the question is asking you. All right, a lot of these will be tricky, as you'll kind of see as we go through. So first off, of the survivors, we want to know what that total is. So what is that total, Mr. Miller?
It's right here. It's not 2,201. That's all the passengers. It's 711. So in these problems, I find the best thing to do is look for the total. What are we finding a percent out of? So 711. Now, the part, we want to know how many were of the survivors were in second class. So that's 118. All right, and if you convert this to a percent, we come up with 16.6%. So it's all knowing which numbers to look for, which is the whole, which is the part. Second question.
All right, what percent were second-class passengers who survived? So this one even gets a little more trickier, but we want to now know of the whole ship, okay? So we want to focus on the second-class passengers who survived. That's all one item.
Yeah, so what I underline is the part this time. So out of everyone, now it's 2,201. The part, there are second-class passengers who survived. So this time I underline the part, and that would be 118. And that would give us a percent of 5.4%. So we can just change that to a percent. Okay, so the wording is very similar on these. We've got to watch very carefully.
Yeah. So the last question then was, what percent of the second-class passengers survived? So now we want to know, this is just out of our second-class passengers.
So that key word is there, of. So that helps us find the whole group. So of second-class passengers. That wasn't in the second problem. It's in this one. That helps me find the total. So how many second-class passengers were there?
Well, it looks like there were 285 based on the two-way table.
And
we're looking at the
survived?
column, and out of the survived was 118.
Wow, we use that number each problem, but ended up with a different percent. Okay, so 118 out of 285, Mr. Lewis.
I'm not that good, Mr. Miller.
My calculator tells me 41.4%. All right, so the key, like we said before when we're talking about percents, the word of kind of signals where the total is, what the whole group is. All right, when it's there, it's helpful. All right, let's go on. One more example. You guys are on your own.
Okay, here we have another practice problem. So this is problem number 18 in the back of chapter 3. So if you just wanted to follow along. So we're looking at students in an intro to stats course, just like you guys. We're asked to describe their politics as liberal, moderate, or conservative. And then we have the news below. So here we have our two-way table. On the side, we have our gender, male or female. And then up top, we have our different politics, liberal, moderate, conservative. So, looking at answer to these questions.
Give us some room. Here we go. We need some space here. So, first question. what percent of the class is male? So our word of is here, so that's helpful. Of the class. And it stops there. That's the total. So of the class would be everyone, 192. Okay? Then is male. How many males in the class?
Looks like there's 115.
Right, in the total column. So 115. All right, so you guys are good at percents now. This part should be no problem for you guys, and that gives us 59.9%. I always like question A. Question A and I always usually get along.
It's nice to start off right.
Yeah, now trouble's coming. Okay.
All right. So question B then asks us, what percent of the class considers themselves to be conservative?
All right. I feel like an English teacher here, so doing this underlining and sentence structures. Of the class. So again, until we hit this, that's the total right there, what we're talking about, of the class. So again, out of 192, Mr. Lewis.
Looks like the conservatives, there were 27 of them. Looking down the column of conservative.
Okay, and 14.1%, sorry. Okay, so far so good.
All right, now it's getting a little trickier. We want to know what percent of the males in the class consider themselves to be conservative.
So here we go. This is the key. What's the total group of the males in the class? And that description ends right there. So the total this time is not the whole group, just the males. So 115 males. So that is the total for this part. Okay, and the part is of the males. So in that second row, how many are conservative?
There are 21.
All right, Mr. Lewis. That comes up to 18.3%. All right.
All right.
Last example.
Last part. We want to know what percent of all the students in the class now are males who consider themselves to be conservative. So now we're back to looking at all of the students. So Mr. Miller is underlining a little too far there. He's getting a little precocious, or ambitious, I should say.
All right. So what percent of all students, all right, in the class are, males who consider themselves to be conservative. All right. Whole class, 192. Okay, and the part is males who consider themselves to be conservative.
So there are only 21 of those.
Okay. All right, I'm hoping my handwriting gets better as we practice this a little bit. 10.9.
Hey, I've been hoping that for several videos. It hasn't worked.
10.9%. All right.
All right, 10.9%. So remember, you got to really watch that wording. And just like Mr. Miller showed you, underline the part right next to that of. It really does help.
Mr. Lewis, one last secret. Usually the phrase of the of ends in a verb. Notice when I'm drawing the line, it's usually when it comes to a verb, it's no longer describing the total anymore. So I don't know if that applies always, or hopefully that'll help you out a little bit. These problems it did.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
All right, now it's time for your guys' journal assignment. All right, we're going to be dealing still in the back of Chapter 3, so we're going to look at problem 19. We're back to Chance Magazine.
Ooh, it's
All
still
right.
in my... Oh! I cannot believe I did that.
Mr. Miller's getting way too excited.
Focus, folks.
All right, so
Hands
first
up.
off, we have exercise 5. We're going to go back to exercise 5. All right, and we're going to deal with the Houston School District magnet schools again. We did this a couple slides ago, I believe. All right, and so we have the two-way tables. We have race on one side, black, Hispanic, Asian, and white. And then our other category was whether they were accepted, waitlisted, or turned away. Okay, so A, B, C, and D will ask you to figure out which of the percents of those, and we're mostly dealing with the Asian group. All right, but do watch what your denominator is going to be. They are going to be changing it on you.
All right, good luck. And we'll see you in class.